Hey guys, welcome to the Convo Couch. Today we've got Pro10, filmmaker, advocating the industry, and
what else do I do?
what was the last one?
Filmmaker, advocate, and a teacher.
Hey guys, welcome to the Convo Couch. Today we've got Pro10, filmmaker, educator, and advocating the industry. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks very much.
Okay, did they ask you if you prefer Sydney over Perth now?
They know I prefer Sydney over Perth because it's been like how many years? 3, 4, I don't know, 13, 14, 15, 16, I don't know. It's been like 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so pretty much, yeah.
So you
my whole adult life
you
has
definitely prefer Sydney over Perth then?
Yeah, definitely. Perth is pretty boring. Like I was fine.
Yeah, it's quite quiet.
Yeah.
I think I've been there once, and I went sandboarding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was quite fun.
Oh, where?
I don't know, like I went there for I think maybe a couple of days, and they took us out by a bus to like the nearby sand dunes.
Oh, cool.
It was like 1 or 2 hours, I think.
Yeah.
And then we just like took a board and just went sandboarding down the sand
That
dunes.
sounds awesome. Next
Have
time
you
I'm
ever tried
back.
it?
No, I've always seen it and just gone, oh, that looks really fun. And
Yeah.
then it looks like it's so soft sand, but then you know that if you crash, like it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, probably. With all the sand in your
Yeah.
face as well, just to remind you how bad it is.
So no, I've never been sandboarding. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the one thing I remembered from my trip to Perth.
Oh.
Yeah.
And why were you there?
It was just a holiday, I think.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty far to travel. It feels like another country. Like we're in a different time zone. We're in, it's like quicker and like closer in time to go to New Zealand than it is to like go to Perth.
Yeah,
So.
it's crazy. It's like you're flying across the whole country and it takes like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
You sound like you're looking forward to your trip in
Oh,
December.
no, yeah. No, I like hanging out with my family. I'm not a good flyer. Like, I don't enjoy flying.
At all?
Anywhere. Like, because even to Melbourne, like, sometimes I'll get sick. I get travel sickness really quite easily. But I found some new miracle pill that I'm going to try. And I'm going to the UK next week. Okay. So I'm going to try it out. And if it works, it's going to change my life. Because it just means I won't be so... Because I get stressed about traveling because of the flight and my travel sickness. Like, I'm not an anxious flyer or something. I think you're good.
This is the second time I've been hearing your views now.
Oh, yeah.
So you're quite open to trying these things.
I'm not sound like some pharmaceutical druggie or something.
Just like chomping down on the pews in the background.
I know. Oh, actually, yeah, maybe I am. I don't know.
I think it's good because like sometimes you hear about certain things and if you try it, like it might actually work for you.
If it works,
which would be amazing.
Yeah. Like I tried the travel sickness pill flying from Perth and it did work because I got off the plane and I was like carrying my own bag and I was just like chatting and then suddenly I was like, wait, this is not normal. My partner was like, you've never carried your own bag off a plane before? Because usually I get off the plane and I'm just like, I'm like, carry my bag. And she has to carry everything.
Grumpy.
Yeah. And she was just like, this hasn't happened before. I was like, oh, maybe it worked. But I won't know until I go further, because the UK is a long trip. So I will wait.
So that was the one trip where it worked.
Yeah, I tried it from Perth to Sydney and it worked. But then that's inconsistent. Like sometimes I'll get sick and sometimes I won't. And so I don't know, but I'll give it a shot.
Life hacks.
Give it a shot. Well, they don't sell it in Australia. They sell it over the counter in the States.
Right.
But it hasn't been approved here.
Oh.
So my mum got it in the States and then she gave me some. Yeah. And then my partner's American, so when her parents come, they're bringing me a bottle. Okay. It's probably illegal. To have it in Australia.
Okay, cool. So you travel a lot for work?
Not really, actually. Right. No, upcoming I've got a few. I'm going to the UK and then I'm going to Melbourne like the week after I come back. No, I don't travel a crazy amount.
Oh, you like to stay
I prefer, and when things are in Sydney, I'm like, excellent. Okay. Whenever there's like a conference or a meeting or something and they're like, we're going to fly to Melbourne, I think most people kind of go, oh, cool, I get to travel.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no.
Okay, so you don't like the traveling?
I don't like traveling.
Okay.
No. I like it when I'm there. I don't like the traveling.
Okay,
Yeah.
So what are you there for? Are you okay to share that? Or
one hasn't been announced yet. So the UK one is announced. That is called the Intersect program, and it's through the British Council, and it's for mid-career diverse artists, like cross-platform, as a peer mentor exchange and knowledge exchange type thing. So we have like a circus person, publishers and literary, visual arts, theatre people. I think myself and Genevieve from Melbourne are the only content creators in terms of film. It's 4 from the UK, 4 from Australia. And we get on to Zoom and we chat to each other and support each other, and then next week we fly there, and then in January they come here. It's all about diverse artists who are attempting to change what we see, who sees it, how we see it, and kind of collaborating with people from different disciplines to realize that we're all doing the same thing, like we're all having the same battles and the same discussions, and to kind of learn from each other in that way. So yeah, so it's a bit of a crazy schedule when we get there. It's pretty much, seems like, I don't know, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. like every day, like it's a bit nuts. So that's the British Council's Intersect program, and then I'm headed to Melbourne, which I'm not allowed to talk about yet. Wait, when is this going to go to air? Because then I can...
Yeah, I know, probably like 2 months later or something.
All right, well then I'll just talk about it if you just pretend that I haven't. Like just...
Okay. All right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Picture Perfect, which is through Screen Australia, and there's 5 teams which have been selected to do a 1-day pitching workshop and then pitch live at VidCon down in Melbourne. And so it's for $30,000 worth of development funding to do development and a proof of concept. So I'm attached to a really awesome, really exciting project written by Amy Stewart, which is very funny. And so I'm attached as a director on that. So fingers crossed when we go down there.
Okay,
Yeah.
Did you get to pick your projects or?
She approached me and
Right.
sort of went, would you be interested in being attached? And I read the synopsis and all her materials. I was like, this is really great. And I just started talking to her about my ideas, and she was like, yeah, this is awesome. And yeah, it was good. So then I was very happily attached to the project. Yeah, it's great. Now I get to go and do this workshop as well, which is great. I'll always get to learn. And because I teach, I'm a bit like, oh, cool. I'll like take what I learn and then disseminate it over here as well. So, everything I learn and the materials I get, I can always adapt for my students at the stage they're at as well. So it's, yeah.
So you like the vessel and then it filters
Yeah,
and then
totally.
you keep the good stuff off.
Yeah.
Stands out for you when you pick projects?
It depends. Like, I mean, in the past, I've done a lot of writing my own content, like doing my own stuff. I didn't enjoy the writing process. Like, I was writing out of necessity. And in fact, a lot of my early films were, I would do plot points and character objectives because I had an actor brain, and then would get, my actor friends together and I'd shoot it as an improvisation. But then it wasn't really scripted, and I really struggle with the discipline of writing. Like the craft of writing is something I really admire in other people, and I don't have the discipline to sit there and unpack it. So I can read a script and be a dramaturg and give comments, but I don't have the grit and determination that a writer has. Like, I like people too much. I need to talk to people. Like, being in a room, I could only ever co-write. I think being in a room locked by myself with my characters in my head, it just drives me crazy. So yeah, and then I heard Kingston Anderson, who's he's leaving, but the current CEO of the Australian Directors Guild, he was in a workshop kind of situation, and I was facilitating a Q&A with him. An actor put up their hand and said, like, what if I just want to act? What if everyone says, like, make your own work, but what if I just want to act? And he was like, well, you have to respect the craft. Like, if you've spent years training as an actor, writers spend years training as writers, directors spend years training as directors. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you can just, as an actor, you can just pick up and just do all this stuff. Like, you can learn and you can increase your craft. But when he said it, I just went, I don't have any writing craft. I don't have any writing craft. I'm not a writer. What am I doing? And then I just sort of went, I'm just going to stop trying to write. And then it was probably about that time that I just went, okay, so the focus now is going to be trying to find writers who have the same interests and story interests and themes that they want to deal with, trying to find them and building a relationship with them to do work. When I met Amy and was introduced to her, and then she kind of showed me her work, I was like, oh wow, she's a really great writer. So I'm really excited to hopefully work with her. Yeah.
Okay, so you started sort of broadening your network a little bit, and you sort of didn't go down the path of writing so much and sort of stuck to acting and started going more into directing as well.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone quits or retires from acting, because like my agent was always like, once an actor, always an actor. And I tried to like quit previously, but I've properly sort of for now taken a proper break. Maybe we'll never return to acting. I love acting. I love the craft of acting. I love being an actor. Whenever I got a role, I really enjoyed doing it. But I found it to be the most sort of passive and powerless role in the industry. So you do all this training, you get out there, and then you're waiting for someone to give you a job. And unlike other art forms, you can't practice by yourself. You can't paint. You can paint by yourself. You can dance by yourself. You can practice your instrument by yourself, but you can't act by yourself. You know, you can do classes, you can do a voice warm-up or keep your physicality, your instrument well, but you need someone to, you know, and you need a text to work off, and you need an actor to work with, and you need an audience, you know, like, so there's just so much that has to happen. And I just found it like really disempowering for me personally to be sitting around and waiting, desperate for a role, and then I'd get an audition for an advert, and I'd just be so desperate for, like, you know, to advertise, I don't know what, you know, like something that I didn't even believe in, and then I was like, please, can I get this right? I was like, that's not what acting's about. That's not what I personally got into it for. Yeah, just over the years I got kind of less and less interested in it. Super grateful for my training and for the transferable skills that acting gives, because it helps me in so many different ways, like in my life. And I think everyone should go and do drama class, you know, like, because you learn so much from doing it, and it's fun, and it gives you confidence, you can speak better, you like have problem solving skills, it increases your creativity. Like, you know, I'm a huge advocate for it, and it's given me a lot. But the actual profession of being an actor is a really hard life, and I see that with a lot of my friends as well. I see them doing it, and yeah, it's challenging to just get a steady income. It's so stressful. I just found it really stressful to survive in some ways. So I then moved more into directing, producing my own stuff so that I could have more control. Maybe I'm just a control freak, I don't know.
Create your own work.
Yeah. And then I got really interested in changing the dialogue, like, you know, creating more diversity and creating stories that hadn't been told, and sort of almost staying outside of the systems. Like, I never really applied, you know, for Screen Australia funding or Create New South, at that point in time, Screen New South Wales funding. I always thought it wasn't for me. Those government bodies have made a real push for diversity as well, and it is much more open now, and there are more opportunities, and it is a space where people can kind of go, oh, put my hand up and give it a shot, you know. So it has gotten a lot better. But yeah, that's how I sort of fell into like the advocacy space as well, for going, let's try and get more diversity, because I could just see that my personal experience wasn't that open, and so I was like, well, maybe I can do something about it. Yeah.
At what point did you sort of realize that there could be really a lot more diversity?
So like, I see what you're doing. You're doing it in your own living room, and it's great. Like, because like,
hey, viewers, this is my living room.
Yeah, sorry. But like, I do exactly the same thing. So I have a web series called Minority Box, and it's literally shot in my living room. You know, I've like moved home since then, and now it's shot in my new living room. I turned up at this audition, and there were, you know, all these wonderful Asian actresses, and we were all there, and we were just kind of like, after the audition, there was like a weird vibe, and we just kind of all went, do you want to just go get lunch? You know, there was like four of us, I remember, and we went and we got lunch, and we were just like, hey, we don't know you, you know, and we were turning up to the same rooms all the time, and so we don't want it to be unpleasant. Like, you're in competition, but it doesn't have to feel like that. So we went and got lunch, and it was really great. And I went home after that, and I thought to myself, like, well, what can I do? Like, there's all these great actors. Are we supporting each other? Like, and what can I do in my spare time, in my living room, for no budget, you know, with the equipment I have? I'm lucky I've got a lot of equipment. I've, you know, over time built up a kit. And so I came up with Minority Box, which was just mini documentaries interviewing actors of all the same type. So the first episode we did was, I think it was 6 different actors, which were female, 25 to 35, Sydney-based actors, and just ask them a bunch of questions. Like, 3 of them could speak French, you know, like, what languages can you speak? You wouldn't think like a bunch of Asian actors, and they were all East Asian actors could speak French, you know. I was just like, what? And things like, you know, what do you frequently get cast as? And they, you know, have the usual, you know, doctors and prostitutes, they were all saying, you know, and versus what's your dream role? The impetus behind it was very much, there's diversity within diversity. I'm much more interested in the nuanced conversations of like, okay, there's a female Asian, but like the experience of a female Asian, like your experience is going to be very different to mine. You know that we've got different backgrounds, different experiences, and so some of our opinions aren't going to be the same. But in storytelling, generally, they'll talk to one of us, ask us a question, and go, oh, okay, you speak for all East Asians, like, you know, women from this age to this age, and you are the voice of authority because you have lived experience. But you're like, no, actually, we all have a different experience. There's some things we come together on, but there's lots of things that are really, really quite different. different. So yeah, it got me really interested in that. That's why I set this up. And then now that's led to research, and I'm currently doing my PhD, and it's sort of looking at that as well. Lee Lewis's platform paper on colourblind casting, I can't remember the exact name of it. And it was such a blinkers off moment for me. I'd never really thought about it when I was at drama school. Oh, you're a gay Asian woman with an Australian accent. Like, wow, what? Like,